I have 6 vital takeaways, 6 vital lessons that we can learn from the recent movie Oppenheimer. This is a really good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys need to go see it because it's a really good movie. It's a lot more thinking than action, I would say. But if you're a thinking type of person and like to see things 2, 3 times ahead of time, or you like to think ahead, it's going to be a really good movie for you. Now, disclaimer, if you haven't seen the movie, you probably don't want to watch this video because I'm going to, say some things that are in the movie. So if you don't want anything spoiled, don't watch this video. But if you guys want to just enjoy the lessons, and these are everyday lessons that we've been told, but it's easier to get it and to grasp the concepts of these lessons when you have a screen or when you have a movie doing it in front of you, right? So I got 6 things. This is going to be a really good video, I think, in my opinion, right? I want you guys, before we get too far into it, or before we get into it at all, as you guys come in and watch the video, like the video, comment your thoughts on Oppenheimer if you've seen it already. Subscribe to the channel if you guys like me and my content and what I talk about on a consistent basis. And if you guys want to support the channel or donate to the channel in any way, all the ways you can do that are in the description below. I appreciate you guys watching me and continue supporting me. Means a lot. Means I'm saying something that you guys want to listen to. So as long as there's a need, I will continually produce what you guys want, right? Lesson number 1, right? And I'm gonna ease into this a little bit. There's a reason why I numbered these a certain way, because I gotta give you a little ease into it before we get into the meat of the stuff, right? So, last opportunity to click off before things get spoiled. Lesson number 1. It takes a team to be successful. I've been in the place they were at in this arms race for power, right? They were in competition with Germany at that time, and they were behind by like I want to say almost a year, right? Some of the things I might say might be a little bit off because it's been a week and a half. And my short-term memory is not that good, but I'm in the ballpark, if I can speak correctly, right? But it takes a team, and Oppenheimer organized and got together the best scientists that not only did he know through his college and through his studies, but he got the help from the government. He got a special part of land that he knew of to operate on that was safe for the nuclear arms experiments. It takes a team to do all that stuff, right? If you struggle with what I struggle with, you're the ultimate independent contractor. You will do just about any job. You will go all the way in. You will max out your own self potential. But what we have to realize is you can't do life and you can't be successful by yourself. It takes a team of people at some level, right? It takes a team to get things done. There's certain blind spots that you have that other people don't have, right? And what made that team so special is that they specialize in different parts of the scientific molecular field, engineering, all that type of stuff, right? A lot of the stuff was going over my head. It was so high level, right? But it takes a team, and you got to have a team of people that that have the same mission and same goal, and that want to get things done, right? And you need opposing views so you guys can come to common ground and figure out and see each other's blind spots and come to a place to where it's a good direction, right? Number two, you can learn from anybody. Now, they tried to paint Oppenheimer as a communist. He wasn't. He just had some friends and he went to a party that was communist ridden. He had some family members and he had, I think one of the girls he dated was a communist, but he wasn't a communist, right? He said in the movie himself, he likes to keep an out. He likes to keep an open mind, which I think is very valuable in the world. See, we close ourselves off to different possibilities of things going on. We limit ourselves in our thinking, right? For instance, if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat, the average Republican will not listen to anything the Democrat is saying, right? Everything the Democrat is saying, he's automatically vilifying and not listening to. And vice versa with the Democrat, with the Republican. But there's a little bit of truth on each side. And oftentimes the most balanced and the most productive area is when you combine both, the good parts of it and flourish, right? So you guys might not like a certain person. That person might be an asshole. That person might be mean. But that doesn't mean you can't learn from them. There's some kind of wisdom there that you can learn, whether it's just simply you don't mess with people like that, or you need to control your emotions and think more logically and think more pragmatic, right? So you can learn from anybody, and that could be your enemy, that could be your friend, that could be somebody that opposes you in a different viewpoint. There's always a lesson to be learned. Now, this is where things get interesting, right? Every action has a reaction, and this is scientific, and this goes in hand with Oppenheimer and the whole concept, right? Oppenheimer opened Pandora's box, and he didn't really realize it until after the weapon was used. He talks about how he created a chain reaction and how since he created this bomb and it's been used, humans will always fight in this way because of what he's created. And he's right. Whenever he was creating this bomb, he was so caught up in doing it, the excitement, that he didn't see what this would lead to. You even had him trying to do plausible deniability when he said, I didn't think they would actually use the bomb. Well, if you really thought that, why would the military and all of the government and everything call you in to operate on such a big operation? This is why Truman called him a crybaby. And that actually happened in real life. That scene. Because all of a sudden he wants to develop a morality when he should have seen that before he even started. He should have seen where this was going midway through. Don't get to the end and feel surprised that people have taken this power and abused it. Number 4, and this goes into everything in day-to-day life, right? They need you now until they don't. It seemed after Oppenheimer had done what he was supposed to do. He got the scientists together. They did their job. All communication was cut off for a period of time. He couldn't talk to the president for a while. The military guy kept him out of the loop. His job was done. He was trying to stay in the loop when it comes to how they were going to use it, what they were going to do, what their plans were. And he failed to realize that he was a pawn on the chessboard. He was a piece on the chessboard that the United States government needed in order to get its duty done. People will use you for what you're good for and then throw you away once they got the information. Discard you, discredit you, act like you weren't even there. How many times in your own personal life have you helped somebody, or you had a person that was eager to learn under you and soak up your information, and once they got what they needed, they skedaddled? How many times have you dated a woman and she wanted to go on a nice date and you took her on a nice date and then she just ghosted you? This is an important concept that you have to grasp. And this is why you have to learn people. And this is why I created this channel. People talk about, if you guys are wondering what I specialize in, I specialize in knowing how humans interact. I specialize in recognizing BS. And I specialize in telling you how it really is. What they don't want you to know. People will use you until you have no purpose. And once you don't have any purpose in their life, they will discard you at a moment's notice. Be careful who you associate with, what information you give out. Vet, vet, vet. Next one. And this kind of goes into what I just talked about. Don't fall in love with a trauma-filled woman. Now, Oppenheimer was known to be a womanizer, not only in the movie, but in real life. I mean, Cillian Murphy looks just like the real Oppenheimer. It's crazy. They look like son and father. They look so much alike, right? But Oppenheimer, his first girlfriend that he, has sex with, or that he falls in love with, he was at the party and he found this woman and they both hit it off and they had sex with each other and all that stuff, right? But she had a lot of trauma. And the trauma was evident because she wouldn't accept flowers. What kind of woman back in the 50s and 40s wouldn't accept flowers? Not only that, she was needy. That neediness comes from a childhood trauma that you didn't get the affection from parents that you should have got. And so since you didn't get that from your parents, you seek that out from other people. And this is where things get a little messed up, right? And you guys might disagree with this, but in my own personal experience, you stay away from trauma-filled women. You stay away from trauma-filled women because they have to go get help, and you don't know their backstory to how deep this trauma is. And so if that person doesn't want to go get help, you're going to fight an uphill battle in trying to heal them. You're going to deal with things with that person that you shouldn't have to deal with. That person needs to go and get help in that area specifically to where they are lacking in. And personally, if you're like me, you don't have time in your own life to not only get your life together, but fix and help somebody else's life together, right? So ultimately, the relationship is going to end because that person hasn't gotten over trauma. They're self-fighting within themselves. And instead of figuring that out, they fought with themselves so much that they brung you in, and now they're fighting on you. They're taking their punishment and their trauma out on you. This is what they mean this is what people mean when they say people self-sabotage relationships. And it's because they're suffering from trauma they haven't healed, or that's one part of it, right? Don't fall in love with trauma-filled women. It's going to be a problem more than it's going to be good for you. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Be careful who you offend. Now, this is the crazy part of this whole movie, right? And it still shocks me. I was sitting there in the movie theater, and I was just appalled at how emotional these grown men were. Specifically Strauss. He got in his feelings when Oppenheimer made a joke about isotopes that I think Strauss was over, right? And ever since that moment, Strauss couldn't get over that humiliation. And the crazy part is Oppenheimer didn't even direct it specifically toward him. He was talking to, I think, a panel of people. I forgot, I wouldn't say, I don't think it was judges or anything like that, but Strauss didn't get a direct attack. Oppenheimer was just being Oppenheimer. He was being arrogant and he was telling jokes and stuff because that was his personality. But Strauss took personal offense to that, and that's where he decided to put a case against Oppenheimer to build a case of treason. That's where all that originates from, which ultimately leads to why that case it fell on deaf ears, because it was false. That and the people in his camp recognized that Strauss was overly emotional. He was being vindictive, much like a woman. And they were like, hey, this is wrong to go take this man and ruin his reputation and potentially throw him in prison because of what you got offended by, right? Be careful who you offend. Strauss hired Oppenheimer. What they say, you never bite the hand that feeds you. And I'm not saying I'm on Oppenheimer's side or I'm on Strauss's side either. I'm just looking at this objectively, right? And on the flip side, there's always somebody that is hating on you and trying to knock you off your success. And it's funny because, like I said before, they needed him until they didn't. As soon as all that stuff was over with, now he wants to launch these accusations out. So I hope you guys got some value from this video. I hope you guys liked the movie. I appreciate you guys watching to the end. You guys have a good day, good week. Like, comment, subscribe on your way out, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.